The committee's study of the Central Detention and Interrogation Program is a report compiled by the bipartisan United States Senate Select Committee on Intelligence about the Central Intelligence Agency's Detention and Interrogation Program and its use of torture during interrogation in U.S. government bulletins on detainees in CIA custody. The more than 6,700-page report, including 38,000 footnotes, details the history of the CIA's Detention and Interrogation Program and the committee's 20 findings and conclusions. On December 9, 2014, the SSCI released the 525-page portion that consisted of key findings and an executive summary of the full report. It took more than 5 years to complete. The full unredacted report remains classified. Today's summary: CIA headquarters authorizes water dousing without Department of Justice approval. CIA headquarters approved requests to use water dousing, nudity, the abominable slap, and dietary manipulation, despite the fact that the techniques had not been reviewed by the Department of Justice. Interrogators used the water dousing technique in various ways. At detention site Cobalt, detainees were often held down, naked, on a tarp on the floor, with the tarp pulled up around them to form a makeshift tub, while cold or refrigerated water was poured on them. Others were hosed down repeatedly while they were shackled naked in the standing sleep deprivation position. These same detainees were subsequently placed in rooms with temperatures ranging from 59 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Other accounts suggest detainees were water doused while placed on a waterboard. Although CIA headquarters approved the use of the water dousing interrogation technique on several detainees, interrogators used it extensively on a number of detainees without seeking or obtaining prior authorization from CIA headquarters. In interrogation sessions on April 5, 2003 and April 6, 2003, senior CIA interrogator, redacted, and another investigator used the water dousing technique on detainee Mustafa al-Hawsawi at detention site Cobalt. Al-Hawsawi later described the session to a different CIA interrogator, redacted, who wrote that al-Hawsawi might have been waterboarded or subjected to treatment that could be indistinguishable from the waterboard. An email from the interrogator stated that we did not prompt al-Hawsawi. He described the process and the table on his own. As you know, I have serious reservations about watering them in a prone position because if not done with care, the net effect can approach the effect of the waterboard. If one is held down on his back, on the table, or on the floor, with water poured in his face, I think it goes beyond dousing, and the effect to the recipient could be indistinguishable from the waterboard. I have real problems with putting one of them on the waterboard for dousing. Putting him in a head-down altitude and pouring water around his chest and face is just too close to the waterboard, and if it is continued, may lead to problems for us. Several months later, the incident was referred to the CIA Inspector General for investigation. A December 6, 2006 Inspector General report summarized the findings of this investigation, indicating that water was poured on al-Hawsawi while he was lying on the floor in a prone position, which, in the opinion of at least one CIA interrogator quoted in the report, can easily approximate waterboarding. The Office of the Inspector General could not corroborate whether al-Hawsawi was strapped to the waterboard when he was interrogated at the detention site Cobalt. Both of the interrogators who subjected al-Hawsawi to the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques on April 6, 2003, said that al-Hawsawi cried out for God while the water was being poured on him, and one of the interrogators asserted that this was because of the cold temperature of the water. Both of the interrogators also stated that al-Hawsawi saw the waterboard and that its purpose was made clear to him. The Inspector General report also indicates that al-Hawsawi experience reflected the way water dousing was done at detention site Cobalt, and that this method was developed with guidance from CIA Counterterrorism Center attorneys and the CIA's Office of Medical Services. During the same time that al-Hawsawi claimed he was placed on the waterboard in April 2003, a CIA linguist claimed that CIA detainee Abu Hazim had also been water doused in a way that approximated waterboarding. Redacted. A linguist in country redacted. From redacted 2003 until redacted 2003 told the Office Inspector General that when water dousing was used on Abu Hazim, a cloth covered Abu Hazim's face and redacted CIA Officer 1 poured cold water directly in Abu Hazim's face to disrupt his breathing. The linguist said that when Abu Hazim turned blue, physician's assistant redacted removed the cloth so Abu Hazim could breathe. This allegation was reported to the CIA Inspector General on August 18, 2004. The CIA reported this incident as a possible criminal violation on September 10, 2004, to the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Virginia. The Inspector General report concluded that there was no corroboration of the linguist's allegation, stating, "There is no evidence that a cloth was placed over Abu Hazim's face during water dousing or that his breathing was impaired."
Details CIA interrogation techniques used on at least 119 suspected terrorists following the 9/11 attacks. Some detainees were interrogated using methods such as waterboarding, which sees interrogators repeatedly pour water onto cloth or cellophane placed over a subject's face in order to simulate the sensation of drowning. Other detailed interrogation techniques include mock executions, where a suspect is made to believe that their death is imminent or that a detainee in a neighboring cell has been killed. Some subjects were also deprived of sleep and kept awake for as long as 180 hours, usually in standing or in stressed positions, and at times in the nude or with their hands shackled above their heads. Exposure to cold and cold showers were also used. At least 5 detainees were also subjected to rectal feeding, in which food is fed through a rectal tube as well as rectal hydration.